never had a fan club before, so this is kind of cool. Hi. I don't know what to say.
Basically, I'm going to start the video and then we'll go from there. So,
okay.
Oh, by the way,
should we turn the lights up?
Do we have one?
Those switches over there.
Two nasty looking switches over here. But I'm not going to do those.
The white button.
Themes projector.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, now these are
Okay.
Hey Jerry, this is Krillin. Looking you way off the Mondo cool stuff for a while, please. Just a bit. I think you're a great writer. I do. I love it. God knows I love the writing. But the Mondo cool stuff, it's not Mondo cool. I'm just kidding. I love the Mondo cool. But some more yet. Mondo terrific. Mondo explicit.
Mondo nuts.
I'm going Mondo nuts. Mondo Kamehameha.
And that's pretty much it. Just like,
There we go. Stop that, Sonny.
Those do epilepsy, close your
only
eyes.
at a late night panel.
Yeah.
Speaking of only at a late night panel, I have a gift for you.
Hello.
Open it.
Oh.
Thank you.
I got the idea from Moricon.
This is truly the gift that keeps giving.
18 plus.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, jeez.
So, Sonny, tell us some of the interesting happenings that have gone on at this convention.
At this convention?
Well, you saw a lot of it. Shine some tits. Put my head in a pyramid. What else happened? Oh, I found like a bunch of Oron High School Club people and took a picture with them. That was awesome. What else? The censorship panel was bad.
next door can fully hear everything you're saying.
Oh yeah?
How's the panel next door? I can hear everything.
Can you guys hear me next door? You hear what I'm saying? You guys! If you knew these next door people like I do, they're no, it's a great convention. I hope I come back again next year. It's really been fun. And probably the coolest highlight was the dinner we had with the people who signed up and paid, I think, $25 to go and have dinner.
Wow.
Next time we're going to do it at Red Robin. I mean, they had shark burgers. Though,
Yeah,
at this
they were
restaurant.
good.
Ooh.
They were good.
It was odd, the shark burger. Although I did absorb the powers of the shark. And I bit that girl over there on the neck. She'll never be the same. That blood is real blood. It dripped onto her arms. No, it's not. But yeah, I had a great time. So, hello. What is that? Proof? Are you really a werewolf?
No.
Okay, cool. I just broke off my... Cool. And then I had lovely meeting the androids right here, the android siblings 18 and 19, or is it 17 and 18? I always get them mixed up. 17 and 18, the ones you can sleep with and the one you can't. Numerically, and also heterosexually. Right? Wow. 18, the sophisticated blow-up doll.
Still right here.
Honey, I say that out of love.
It sounds loving.
It is loving. Come on, honey. Show me all your android tricks. Anyway, so I get really dirty at night, apparently. Do you guys have any questions about the things I do for a living, or why, or... Yes, sir, Weird Al. What's your question?
In the censorship panel, you mentioned that you did a voice on Lupin.
Yeah.
Which one?
Lupin.
Okay.
But only for Funimation. We had like 11 or 12 movies, and I played Lupin in those, and I directed all but the first one. The first one was directed by Chris Sabat, who plays Arjigin, who's awesome as that. And after I did the first one, he goes, "You seem to have an idea of how this is supposed to go. Do you want to direct the rest of them?" And I went, "Yeah."
So Castle Cognos drove that?
No. That was actually
that
done
was a long
in the
time ago.
70s or 80s.
Yeah.
You know? And actually, Chris and I talked about that a lot before we started with the first one, because he found it and he said, "Watch this. This is one of the best dubs you will ever see," and it was done 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
And so I watched it, and he was absolutely right. And so that was our touchstone. We were going to try to reach that level of quality. That's what we tried to do with it. And the way myself, when I started directing, I realized, because as a voice actor, you have to go in by yourself, you know, and it's you and the director. You don't get to play off other actors, which is fine. You know, the directors know what they're talking about and they understand it, but at the same time, you're missing on the chemistry, the vocal chemistry that comes from playing off of another actor. Well, Lupin has so many lines, okay? So what I would do is do a rough track of all of his lines and then let the other actors play off of that. Then I would go back and re-record his lines playing off of them. So if you want to hear some of the best vocal chemistry you could ever hear, look up the Funimation Lupin III movies. It really is, it's so tight. And something I'm very proud of too. Also, the voice actors, I used mostly veterans who've been around for a while, people who can actually improvise to mouth flaps, which is pretty astonishing to see. And I told them, look, the script is basically just a rough draft. You feel free to ad-lib if you want to, as long as you keep the original content the same. I don't care how you say it. And some of the funny I ever heard in that studio was done on those shows, so please check it out. Any other questions? Sir?
Yeah, it's like when you did Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, and another time comes up for Krillin to die, what's usually your reaction? I mean,
Great, I'm going to be out of work for a few more months. Generally, yeah. And especially back then, because when I started doing Krillin, that was the only character I'd ever done, you know? So it was still kind of a part-time job for me, voice acting. I was doing a lot of commercial art, occasional comic book art, and then Toonami Tom came up. And Cartoon Network was looking for somebody to play this mascot, or this host of Toonami. So what they did was they used all of their studios that they work with, all the animation studios around the country, and from Funimation they asked for me and Chris Sabat and Linda Young, who was Frieza. So we're all like looking at you, because we all have very diverse voices. They don't, you know, there's nothing about us that even matches up in any sort of way. But they gave us just a video of Toonami Tom walking. And they gave us a weekend to look it over, and then on Monday we were to audition. So we're looking at this robot, you know, and we're all coming up with robot voices and things like that, you know, that we thought would be appropriate. And we show up, and Chris goes in first, I think. And we could hear, this is rare too, we could actually hear the auditions. So I heard the director talking to him, and the director was in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're in Dallas. So this is all done through a digital patch system. And so Chris started some robot stuff, and he said, no, we just want you to use your regular voice. He's like, what? He's like, just use your regular voice. Okay, and now it's time for this show. He said, no, not an announcer voice, just your regular voice. And he was really confused by what they were wanting from this character. And then Linda did it, and she was also, and I could tell by what they were talking about, what they're really looking for is a punk. So I came in and I said, do you mean to tell me that I spent the entire weekend developing this really cool robot voice and you don't even want to hear it? And they went, well, I guess we could listen to it. Yeah, I think it would be best. Okay, Sonny, what do you got? You know, I said something like this, and he went, that's terrible. And I go, I know, but I wanted a chance to do it. I said, so what exactly are you looking for here? And they went, I think you know. You want what you're doing right now. And I said, oh, okay, I think I can pull that off. And so then I was the Toonami Tom. Once I got Toonami Tom, I realized I'd stumbled onto a career. Because Toonami Tom paid really well. I missed that part. And it was so funny too, because I was so green, I didn't know how to negotiate a contract. And they said, well, so we were talking about, what are you expecting to make? And I said, well, somebody told me at Funimation that, you know, I shouldn't tell you what I make now. And that was the only advice I got. And he said, well, that's good advice. And they said, well, what are you looking for? I said, well, I get paid by the hour now. And they went, I went, what? So, well, we don't usually pay people by the hour. We usually just give them a contract for it. But if that's what you're used to making, then we can pay you by the hour. And they said, how about $300 an hour? And I said, yes. That was my negotiation. Yes, I will take your $300. And he goes, oh, okay. And so we were talking about it more, and he's talking about how he wants to schedule this and how we're going to make it work in 2 different studios in different states. And then about halfway through this conversation, he says, you know what, I'm just going to give you $400 an hour. He was feeling guilty because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I went, okay, that's even better. Now I look at it, I could probably have gotten $600 an hour off this guy, easily. But I had no idea what I was doing. But still, $400 an hour in Texas goes a long way. I mean, Sonny was buying the drinks for a couple of years there. So. But I feel like I'm taking all this panel. This is really a panel about this thing that
This has been started by Kimmy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pass it over to you, Kimmy.
Basically, like it said in the program, we started this on the 1st of August, I think it was, and I basically have always been a really big fan of Sonny, and even though I only knew about half of his roles, not even half. I mean, I didn't know you were Usopp.
Right?
I'm not a really big One Piece fan myself.
You.
I'll take that as a
Grab the ball
compliment
again,
from
man.
It's a good show.
But I was obviously I'm a huge fan of Mace Hughes. I mean, gee,
I would never guess that from you.
Well, one thing I'd like to do is you said you were a big fan of Inside the Actors Studio. And I'd like to ask the 10 questions that James Lipton asks.
Okay.
Okay, number 1, what is your favorite word?
favorite word.
Not curse word is later.
Right. Oh, I have 3 favorite words actually. I like monkey, voodoo, and midget. Those are my 3 favorite. When I hear those words, I get happy. And if I ever see a comic book called Voodoo Midget Monkeys, or maybe I should do it myself, I would be thrilled to see that on the shelf. Voodoo Midget Monkeys? Yes! That is manna from heaven.
Okay, number 2, what is your least favorite word?
No.
That's a good one. What turns you on? This is a loaded question.
Art turns me on. And any sort of art. If I see somebody doing something creative, I want to participate, or at least want to try it myself. I'm in 2 rock bands right now, and I'm a voice actor, and I'm a professional cartoonist. And it's just a little bit into interpretive dance, if you saw it from the pictures. But if I see something on stage, or if I read a book and somebody's trying some new style or something, I want to try it myself, because art really turns me on.
And on the other side of that, question number 4, what turns you off?
People saying no.
What sound do you love?
Oh, God.
Yes. I'm gonna.
When it happens.
Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
I hate the sound of styrofoam rubbing against styrofoam. That just kills me. I have no problem with this. Nails on the chalkboard, I can do that myself. I go, no problem. But styrofoam rubbing against it, I can't take it. I don't even want to talk about it.
Okay, what is your favorite curse word?
Shit is my favorite curse word. I don't know, it just has a nice ring to it. Actually, it's like, it starts off like, shh, be quiet, okay? But then, I love it, and it's such a catch-all for everything. As a matter of fact, I was mentioning in the censorship panel that when my daughter, who probably should not have been raised by me, when she was like 12, we were moving, and it was just the three of us, my wife, my daughter, and I moving just by ourselves, and she was working her ass off. And at the end of the day, I said, you know, you have worked like a man today. I'm going to give you a man's word. Now, you can't say this at school. You can say it only in front of me and your mother, but you are allowed to say shit from now on. And she said, oh, thank God, I've been saying it under my breath all day today.
Okay, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Well, I'm really into mad science, and I would like to retire as a mad scientist someday. I've actually got a theory that I may be able to make a faster than light speed drive propulsion. But I'm not going to tell you what it is, you might take my idea. And I'm also in the idea of time travel, and I've got some theories on that too. So someday, I will probably be that.
And on the flip side of that also, what profession would you not like to do?
You know, my mother tried to get me to be an accountant, because she was an accountant. And I actually was a night auditor for a hotel for many years, and I loved the job, mainly because I worked at night. And there was a lot of spare time, but also I liked finding out why things didn't balance, you know, and it was like a mystery to me. But so she tried to talk me, and I said, Mom, I don't want to do that, I want to be an artist, you know. And my book, We Shadows, there's a character named James who's a CPA, he works for a company as an accountant. And he lives a miserable life. And basically I was writing my life if I had taken that path. So I don't want to be an accountant, ever.
And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
See, I told you. No,
okay.
I think that God tries to speak to people all the time, and at different points of our lives we can hear it, and other points we can't, and that's what philosophers and mystics call the dark night of the soul. And I recently went through one of those for like 3 years, and I couldn't feel any sort of spiritual presence at all. And past year I've been feeling it again, so hopefully God will say, see, I told you.
Does anyone have, oh, yes. Does anyone have any questions about the club, about anything like that?
How do you join?
That's a very good question. Are you going to be here tomorrow?
No, bored.
Oh, well, go on to Sonny Strait Swingin' Sidekicks, like look it up, search it and go to the Yahoo group. And I didn't bring any of the flyers, or I
Make it Facebook.
yeah, it's also a Facebook. Oh, actually.
There you go, there's a
There you
flyer.
go. Could you hand it to him so that, and then he can write down the information. One thing that I've noticed, we have about 117 members on the Facebook page, but in order to be considered an official member of the club, you need to join the Yahoo group, much like the Rangers and the Miniskirt Army. Do you have anything to say to Vic or Travis about finally having a club of your own?
See, I told you so.
Well, at the end of the video, I put in what I think is the perfect challenge for the Rangers and the Skirts. And I told, after you left the restaurant, I told them that I wanted our slogan to be, whether you're a Ranger or a Skirt, you mess with us and you're eating dirt.
It's not bad. I don't feel like I have a vote in any of this though, because it's not really my club. It's a club that belongs to you and people, and I like it. So
It's meant to be for you, so I want you to have
Totally
as much say in it as possible.
I thank you for that, but I really think
It's a fan club, so it should be all done by the fans, really. You know, whatever you guys want to do with it. I will love coming to dinners with you guys and, you know, providing artwork or whatever, but, you know, really the final decision is going to be yours. I'm not going to push it one way or the other.
I do appreciate the support.
Yeah.
I mean, the dinner went over much better than I anticipated. After the first day, we only had like 5 people signed up, and we got 16 people, which was awesome. And if anyone interested, do we have any of our leadership, any of the leaders here besides me?
There's no captain for Utah, but I'd like
actually,
to be one.
there is a captain for Utah. I don't think he's here tonight.
Well, he sucks!
Well, a lot of people, like some of the people that were at the dinner had to leave, so unfortunately. Any other questions? I mean,
well, what about lieutenants and things like that? Do you have those?
We're looking for a commander for like each area of the like the north part of the state, the central, and then the southern. It just depends on the size of the state, how many people we're going to need. I know, like California, I'm going to need a ton of people. I know there's been a few people that signed up on the when we were at the table that they were interested in leadership. One of them was a guy that I actually grew up with when I was living down in Fairview. Let me just get a poll here for demographics. Who here is from northern Utah? The majority.
Oh yeah, what's
anyone north of like Provo?
Oh yeah.
And then central Utah, like Spanish Fork and down to like Gunnison and that area. And then southern Utah. Awesome. Do we? I mean, I'm looking for a number of different, like, because I know there's maybe 3 conventions in Utah. This one and 2 in St. George.
Sorry.
Fanaticu, and what was the other one? Anime St. George.
They're not worth talking to.
No.
What are the best cons in
anything
Utah?
other than Fanaticu?
Yes.
This is the best. I like the gaming electronics.
Fighting the establishment.
Yeah. I do a lot of voices for gaming too.
Yeah, that was an insane convention I went to last year. And it was
well, of course, I did the Dragonball Z and animated stuff, but I've also was
Explosion Man that recently came out. Yeah, and also from the same company, Twisted Pixel, I play Dr. Wickelmeyer in a game called Comic Jumper, The Adventures of Captain Smiley. And Captain Smiley is played by Chris Sabat, and I'm the villain, Dr. Wickelmeyer. I was also in Ice Age 2 video game. I played Kid the Sword. Is there anyone who cares about Kid the Sword?
I know. Wow.
Yeah, except he didn't, really do a lot. He didn't have a lot of lines in the video game, but he did mostly reactions. So it's like, get out! Look out! Stuff like that. So, a video game or gaming convention would be right up the alley too. So I would love to attend that.
Okay.
Well, just 2 quick things. One, we do have a gaming convention here in Utah called Geeks. But I think Geeks actually travels. It does visit here every year, and that's an option. The question I have, and it's club related. Vic has the Rangers. Travis has the Skirts. Do we have a nickname for ourselves yet?
We're called either Sidekicks or 4S.
Swinging sidekicks. Yeah.
Sidekicks sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, when I do like signatures on stuff, like done a couple of autographs, which is really strange for me, because I'm not used to it. I normally sign 4S with a heart around it. And I have an interesting story to tell about. I went to Conjecture, which is a little sci-fi convention there in San Diego, where I got to hang out for a good portion of the con with John Allen and Tadao Tomomatsu. And I was hanging out in the con suite, and one of the housekeeping maids spoke very little English, but she said I recognized the character because I was wearing my Maze Hughes costume, and she asked me for my autograph, and it was just incredibly surreal for me.
It's still kind of surreal for me too.
Why is that? I mean, you go to a bunch of conventions.
It's always strange that people would want to have your signature on anything if they're not a bank. It's just very, very, very surreal sometimes. And sometimes it's just, because I do these all the time, so it's like, just a day in the life, right? But then sometimes I'm in the middle of a signing and there's like 100 people and I'm signing every one of them and I'm going, how did it come to this? What am I doing?
Just don't read the fine print.
Yeah. Don't examine it. Just enjoy it.
Well, this is for friends off. This is for Sonny. You seem, when I see signatures and artwork and stuff like that, you seem to focus on Krillin. Is it because Krillin's a favorite, or is one that's most recognized?
Easiest to draw. He's got no hair. It's just a bald thing, and I can put any quick expression on it. And a lot of times, I do charge for drawings, but I don't charge for autographs. But I like, if I have a moment to spare, and I'm also a notorious graphomaniac, I will doodle all the time. So I have to stop myself from getting too detailed. I'll just go with Krillin, because I know it will only take me a second to do it. But also, Krillin is my favorite. I mean, that's the one I started out with. And that's kind of the reason why this is swinging sidekicks, because I play a lot of sidekicks. Yeah, that's to answer your question. It's mostly that.
Thank you.
Yes.
One Piece is one of my favorite animes, and I'm not sure how far you guys are in the English version, but the question I have about Usopp is that he is, at the beginning, a very token, annoying anime character.
Yeah.
Until suddenly, at some point, you find that you really like him. Whereas in most other animes, that token annoying character stays as the token annoying character.
Yeah.
What do you think about the evolution of Usopp?
I love that character. It's the worst on my voice, but it's one of my favorite written characters, because I love people who are scared and yet will still fight anyway. Because to me, I once heard that courage is not having fear. Courage is being afraid and doing what has to be done anyway. Actually, I think John Wayne said that also in another way. I think he said, courage is being afraid but saddling up anyway. And that's those kind of characters like Krillin. Krillin is scared all the time, but he's way out of his league. But he's also one of the first people to jump into a fight. And he's also one of the few people who knows he's going to die if he does so, but to buy his friends a few more minutes of time to maybe save the Earth or the universe, depending on what the episode is, he's willing to do that, And Usopp is another one of those guys, although he will try to weasel out of it any way he can, but if it comes down to his friends are going to die if he doesn't do this, he will go in there and get his ass kicked or fight anyway,
Where are you guys in the?
I can't really say. We're the last DVD that's come out. That's where we are.
Where is the last DVD?
I can't say.
Can't say.
But it's so we're ready to start recording more, and we should be recording more. Oh God, hopefully within the next 6 months.
Okay, because the Water 7 arc, the Japanese version, there's a moment of Usopp versus Luffy that It's tear-inducing almost, so.
I know what you're talking about, but I'm not allowed to talk about where we are exactly. Yeah. But I do know where you're talking about because I've actually researched it. I am the Soviet. Yes.
Well, I'm not sure if this is really allowed, but I was wondering if you could possibly, because I'm not sure if you're this very far in One Piece, but if it's not, I guess it's okay. But I was wondering if you could possibly sing a rendition of Soga King's theme song.
I just did. That's as far as I'm going to go with that until it's translated. Yeah, and I see the script, and then it gets done and out there, and I can do it legally. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, Larry.
What are some of the other roles that you've done that maybe haven't been announced, or I mean,
just one of the most recent ones was Drossel from Black Butler. You guys, that's a really good part. He's an Englishman who is very, very frightening, and he sings a lot. London Bridge is falling down, mostly that.
That's my first time hearing that voice. I haven't actually seen any of it.
I love it because, as an actor, I mean, one of the first accents you learn is how to speak with an English accent, and you never get to use it though. And now here's a show where everybody gets to use an English accent. It's badass. Let's see what else. Recently Ragnarok on Soul Eater, which was cool too. Ragnarok, I was like, didn't even have to audition for that. The director just went, oh, I think Sonny would be good at this. And it was this twisted demon character, right? And I was like, yes, I get to be evil, right? And then just a few episodes into it, it becomes this chibi thing. So now it just sounds like an evil Krillin. Krillin, I hate you, I hate you! Let's see what else. There are some other things I can't announce yet, but...
what are some of the earlier things? Like, you said that you've done Krillin and...
you guys seen Kodacha?
Eh?
One of the best shows that Funimation does that nobody knows about. Kodacha is about a little girl named Sana, who has a TV show that she's on. She's a star of a TV show called Child's Toy. And Child's Toy takes place in a classroom. Well, I play her imaginary television teacher, a guy named Shinjiro, who has big buck teeth and talks like this. That's one of my favorite parts to play, and he's very funny too, but nobody knows about it. It's a very surreal show. It's very, the humor is very Monty Python in places too. It's really good. What other weird shows have I been on? Tons lately, and a lot of them I'm only on for a bit, and it's so brief that I don't even know what the show is, But and also, if you really want to find out some stuff that I've done that is not even listed as me, I go by the name of Cool Das. I'm going to tell you guys this, and I've never announced this at a convention, but since you're in the fan club, I will tell you. Cool Das, Kuldas, and it's the part I do. That's the name I use when I do bit parts. And so, and sometimes I'll give them a bigger part, But Cool Das actually has internet credits now. And I got the name because I'm a Unitarian, and my wife and I. My wife loves going to the Krishna Temple in Dallas. And we were invited to a party at the president of the Krishna Temple's house. And I asked the president, I said, so is it wrong to want to be a Krishna devotee just to get one of those cool names? Because they all have like Brahmatirtha and all these Hanuman and all these cool names, right? And he said, would you like a cool name? And I said, that'd be cool to have a cool name. Because I will give you a cool name. Your cool name is Kuldas. And I went, wow, what is that? He says, it's Kuldas. It means, it's a very good Unitarian name. It means servant of God's dynasty. And I went, that is bad. I am Kuldas. It really made my wife mad because she actually goes to this temple a lot and everything, and she hasn't become a devotee, so she doesn't have a spiritual name. And I was just handed one. She said, well, you know what that means? He's now your spiritual master because he gave you a name. I went, oh, that's cool. So I have a spiritual master, and I have a spiritual name, and I didn't have to do shit Yes.
It's like, what is your average time like in the recording studio? Like, how long do you tend to stay?
Oh, well, it depends on the role, you know. I mean, like with Lupin III, it's many hours, you know. And then Krillin, like at the beginning of the series, a lot. Because Goku is out of commission for quite a bit, and when Goku's out of commission, Krillin does the talking. But then, you know, sometimes it's just like a couple hours a week. You know, it's a very feast or famine industry. You could just be banking for months, and then you could go a month and not make a dime. So you learn to hold on to your money as much as you can. Yeah?
With the Dragonball Z role, you know, you did the original Krillin, and now with Dragonball Kai, you get to do him again.
Yeah.
How is that doing a character again when you thought that you had pretty much been done with him?
It's totally bad. Because, you know, when I started out doing Krillin, I mean, I was very green, you know, and I'm like, season 1 embarrasses me to hear it now. I've been doing this for 12 years, about more now. So it's just amazing. First of all, I never thought I would be still doing Krillin 12 years later. But now I can do him the way I wish I could have done him in the past, you know, and all the actors are that way who are still around doing it. You know, you can hear this experience in their voice, and it's just amazing to play off of. And the funnier lines are funnier, the sad lines are much more sad. I mean, we're able to evoke emotion much more cleaner. And you know, when we first started out, we were fighting with the mouth flaps. You know, we were just trying to make it fit every flap that was there. You know, and now we can smooth out anything. You know, and also, most of us know how to ad-lib to flaps. So if the writing doesn't quite match the flaps, we can figure out a way to do it, you know? So, yeah, it's a thrill. It is an awesome thrill. And although Krillin, I will say this right now, where we're recording, he's dead. So I'm sure he'll be back very soon.
That's why you're in con season.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah. Now I'm getting paid to be famous. Yeah, that's my job now. Yes?
I'm not sure if this is really a sensitive topic, but as Krillin, what was your favorite death?
Yes.
I have to say, my favorite death was also my least favorite, and it was because it was with Frieza, when Frieza carries him up into the sky and explodes him, and it was the first time that I really gave a gut-wrenching scream, you know, as Krillin. And he's screaming, "Goku!" and he's gone, right? But at the time, we were recording on tape, not digital. So it was very difficult to find files of things that we recorded in the past. So anytime we referred to something that happened before, we just re-recorded it. They referred to that death so many effing times. I had to scream that bloody scream like at least 6 times. I was just irritated. He was like, "Really? We can't just keep this on file somewhere?" So it became my least favorite really quickly. But as far as, I think it was one of the most moving ones, you know. I mean, it's like he's suspended in midair, and then he's carried, and then, and you don't get to die better than that. I hope that's how I go.
Just wondering, with all the abridged series coming out, have you seen any of them? Or
Yeah.
I've seen a few. It's been a while since I've seen them, you know. The Krillin was still getting the own count the last time I saw him.
They're still doing it.
Yeah. But my only criticism with that is that they don't go far enough. Because it's something like Dragon Ball Z, oh my God, you could rape that show. It's so bad. It's just so ripe for parody, you know? I mean, it's a great show, it's fun, it's funny, but at the same time, there's so much there, you know? Chris Sabat and I were talking about this, about how we could just tear that show up. Yeah?
What was your opinion on Dragon Ball Evolution?
My opinion is I didn't even see it.
It doesn't exist.
I watched a preview on television for it, and I saw Goku walking down a hallway of a high school or something, and I went, "What is this? They don't understand what the hell they have." And then I heard Krillin wasn't in it, and I said, "Forget it, I'm not watching it." If you don't have Krillin in it, you don't even know what this product is.
Right.
The only reason I watched it.
At least they didn't ruin Krillin though.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's completely destroyed. I mean, do you guys know what Dragon Ball Z is based on? It's based on a
Journey to the West.
exactly the Way West, Journey to the West. It's called different things, but it's the legend of the Monkey King, and that's why Goku is the Monkey King. And all those characters, those main characters, are represented in that mythology, and Krillin is being one of those representations as well. I mean, he is the monk, And if you don't have all those things represented, it means you don't know where this show came from. And it means that you're just some executive who saw a hot product and thought, hey, I can make some money, I'm going to make a movie. But I'm not going to do it the way they do it. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. The way kids will like it. Really, kids already like it. That, let's do something else.
The only reason I saw Evolution was because Emmy Rossum was one of my favorite actresses because I saw her in Phantom of the Opera.
Well, I like Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer too, but I still didn't see it.
I didn't even realize he was.
What's his name? James
Marsters. I didn't even realize he was in the show, in the movie, until I saw the credits. I did not recognize him.
Oh, it's bad.
I got to hang out with James
at a convention in Chicago because they had me and Tiffany Ballmer, who was the original Bulma, host the Buffy Bash. So he was there, and Drusilla was there.
Oh my goodness.
And he was really cool. He and I hung around for a while talking about acting, and he also said that he was talking about the money that you make in. He said, yeah, dude, we don't make any money over there either. He said, I was driving my red Honda Civic until just last year, But it was cool to actually hang out with him. But it was also really cool because I was single then, and there were these fangirls of him that follow him everywhere, and they're really cute. And they saw me hanging out with him, so then they wanted to hang out with me. So I brought them all to my hotel room when I was sharing with my roommate, Paul. And Paul was sitting there waiting, and I said, Paul, I got a present for you. And I opened up the door, and this cavalcade of women come into this hotel room. It was a cool party.
And I think we only have about 10 minutes left. Are there any other questions about the club or about Sonny in general?
Has everyone joined in this room?
No.
Can they see you afterwards?
Yeah. We can get email addresses, and I can send you the link to the Yahoo group and all the other pages we have. We're on DeviantArt, we're on Facebook, we're on, obviously we're on Yahoo, and one of the focuses I'd like to put on as far as for the club is not only your voice work, but also your artwork, because you've been, how long have you been doing comic books in comparison to how long you've been doing voice work?
Let's see. I guess about 25 years now I've been a professional comic book artist in one form or another. I actually was going to school, college, as a theater major. My plan was to be a theater professor. And then this guy was doing his own comics in town called The Sex Gophers from Hell. And it was so funny, and it was about a rock band called The Sex Gophers. And I drew a cover for him, and he said, oh, dude, you need to draw a whole book. So I started drawing this book, and I fell in love with the media, and dropped out of college and started drawing comics. And then about a year and a half later, I got my first professional job, and it just led to other things. But it wasn't that, I think I was 22 when I started doing that. And I didn't get on Dragonball Z till I was 33. So that's the time span. I was at least a 11-year gap between those two careers. But yeah, if you want to check out some of my work, you can check out We Shadows by Tokyo Pop. I believe you can find it on eBay pretty cheap, like $4.
I'm trying to get the information for the club.
Oh, cool, yeah.
You have to turn the projector back on.
And also you can check out ElfQuest. I did a lot of stuff for ElfQuest.
I'm trying to get the projector back on so I can get the...
Alright.
Sorry.
Big grumpy. Yeah, and also, like, I've been doing convention sketches. I usually do those all weekend.
There's the information for the... sorry.
But please join if you haven't joined.
Well, your Facebook page, your DA page, everything.
And tomorrow you'll be at the table for a while. What time will you be?
My cousin's picking me up around 3.
Okay, so until 3 o'clock tomorrow, you can come by the table in Artist Alley and fill out your information on there, right?
Yeah, or
Okay.
you can pick up one of the flyers, which has all the information on it as well.
Okay, and can they do that here too? Or?
I just need to get my notebook out.
Okay. Anyone who hasn't done it, if you want to come up here now, that'd probably be a good time because we only got a few more minutes left.
They just flashed the 5-minute warning, so a minute or two ago.
Well, thank you guys so much for showing up.
Yeah, thanks guys. And thank you for Sonny for being here. I know he's just been really busy with...
I've got to go to my room now and draw 11 drawings for commission sketches, so bye.
Woo!